coming from all about. When the people working together, they're joining hand in hand. Love, peace, and unity all over Andros land. Oh my Andros, she wake, 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 Andros and she wake. Oh my Andros, she wake, 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 Andros and she wake. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Central Andros, small old bay, coral reef, all Andros we got. They're showing off their prints and culture. Mangrove key, hospitality, sweet, sweet, sweet. When they hear the rhythm, spirits from the broken reefs. Join your voices together. Yeah, how they sing. Oh my Andros, she wake, 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 Andros and she wake. Oh my Andros, she wake, 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 Andros and she wake. Oh yeah, Lord, Lord, Lord. Right. Spirits from the broken reefs, join your voices together. Yeah, how they sing. Red day, my day. Low sound come down. Drink silk and stay.
Is this a party or what? This the big bad sir. Take it out. Oh yeah. Let's do it, y'all. Tonight the mood is right. Y'all them look so nice. Keep on playing this sweet down music. Say the people can't refuse it. Outside in the open air, holding my baby oh so near, with one hand in her hand and one arm around her waist. We having a party in the backyard. Oh yeah, party all night long. We gonna break and scream until the morning come. We gonna party till the break of dawn. Yes man, party, party. Oh yeah. This girl named Nikki says she dancing here with me. Been after her so long, gonna keep her close to me. Because this dance floor is...
Tonight, foreign affairs officials monitoring the ongoing Iran saga and Bahamians possibly within the quarreling territories. Also, the family of murder victim number 40 speaks. And later, a woman being charged in connection with the Father's Day killing of police reservist Williams. Eyewitness News starts now.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Janelle Longley, and thanks for joining us. Off the top tonight, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is seeking urgent clarification from the United States following reports circulating on social media made by Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna that a group of Iranians and Russians were interdicted by the U.S. Coast Guard after allegedly entering from the Bahamas. In a statement issued Monday, the ministry confirmed that no security agency in the Bahamas is aware of any such incident. Officials say the government has formally requested details from U.S. authorities to verify whether any interdiction occurred involving individuals claimed to have transited through Bahamian territory territory. No official statement has yet been issued by the United States government on the matter. Also in news, officials monitoring the status of two Bahamian students studying in Qatar as tensions continue to boil between Iran and Israel following a recent bombing by the United States that prompted Iran to retaliate some 48 hours later. Our Laurencia Smith joins me in studio with the latest. Laurencia?
That's right, Janelle. The world seems to be watching the escalation of the circumstances between these countries, with many asking the question, are we on the brink of another world war? While that question remains to be answered, here in the Bahamas, as with others, the safety of our citizen is paramount. And the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Fred Mitchell, addressing those concerns earlier today.
As far as we know, there are two Bahamians in Qatar now in Doha. They report that they're safe, and we've told them to just remain in place until further notice. And I noticed that some airlines have, in fact, canceled flights into that area until September.
Mitchell says his ministry is closely monitoring developments in the Middle East following Monday's missile attack by Iran, targeting U.S. bases in that region. International media confirmed the missiles were intercepted by Qatar Air Defense System, and no injuries were reported. Now, the minister also added that Bahamians scheduled to travel to that part of the world had their flights canceled as the tensions continue to escalate. The big question is now, what impact will this have on the Bahamas?
Operate in the normal, cautious fashion that they would. The world is obviously in a period of instability. This happens from time to time. So my suggestion is a country like us that's really on the periphery. It's unlikely that we'd be at the center of this.
Mitchell is also urging Bahamians traveling to the U.S. to take normal security precautions, particularly when visiting Washington, D.C. and other major cities.
To the U.S., and this would include students, that you should stay away from political demonstrations. Don't get involved in it. Make sure that you carry your papers with you at all times. And remain within the law.
And from the regional front, CARICOM's Council for Foreign and Community Relations says it's deeply distressed by the escalating violence and humanitarian crisis in Gaza, warning that tensions across the Middle East is now threatening global stability.
The view of our countries that the world suffers when there's war, and the war needs to be de-escalated, and the parties ought to step back from the breach. That's general advice, which we always give.
Now, Janelle, again, the world is watching, and we only can pray and trust that calmer heads prevail. Now, this is a story that we will closely be watching. Live in studio, I'm Laurencia Smith. Back to you at the desk, Janelle.
Thank you, Laurencia. Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper says the ripple effects of the escalating conflict in the Middle East may soon hit closer to home than many Bahamians realize. Now, in the wake of the attack, DPM Cooper says what's unfolding adds to a growing threat of regional instability. He says it could signal the start of a time filled with global economic uncertainty.
This is just the beginning, I believe, of a crisis, this phase of this crisis, and we don't know how it will continue to unfold, and therefore it creates uncertainty. When there is uncertainty, people tend to stay put. They stay at home, which is not good for tourism, not good for the economy. There is disruption in supply chain, again, not a positive for the economy. There's a possibility of increase in oil prices. Again, we are a country that's very open, that grapples with the cost of living, not brought on by anything we do directly, but because we're so open, we just need to deal with it.
Tonight, Cooper is calling for peace and says the Bahamas remains on high alert. He added that the country's national security is strong and we are ensuring the proper protocols are in place.
We follow international protocols. We have a great national security team, National Intelligence Agency that collaborates with the international community, and they monitor trends, they look for risk, and they advise appropriately when necessary. We have been extremely fortunate in the Bahamas. We not have had any major incidences. We hope that this will continue.
Still on news from foreign affairs, a sharp rise in oil prices following U.S. airstrikes on Iran is prompting close attention to the fuel industry. Leaders and environmental experts here at home are now chiming in on the discussion. Our intern Layla Sands has the details in this report.
Oil prices have spiked nearly 7% following U.S. airstrikes on Iran, raising concerns about disruptions at the Strait of Hormuz, a key global fuel route. With the Bahamas fully dependent on fuel imports, there are questions about what this could mean for local energy costs. The Bahamas Petroleum Association says the situation is being closely watched. Vice President Vasco Bastian spoke with Eyewitness News about what to expect in the coming weeks.
The impact will not be felt immediately, and so I would say not much at this time. Probably in another 6 to 8 weeks, we should see some type of impact. With probably higher prices probably at the pump, but at this present time, we shouldn't see anything immediately.
Bastian says the country is currently well supplied and that local inventory systems are structured to manage short-term shocks in the global market.
There's never a need for Bahamian populace to panic when stuff like this happens, because we always have sufficient inventory, and we buy gas in the futures market. Our wholesalers buy gas in the futures market, so our prices usually lock in 6 to 8 weeks in advance. So there's no need for Bahamian populace to panic at all.
Environmental consultant Deborah Deal, who previously led the Energy and Environmental Committee at the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce, is encouraging a more proactive approach.
Stay a little bit calm right now. Contact your suppliers. Is this going to have a problem? Is it going to be a problem for you? How long do you think it's going to take before it becomes a problem? Let's start stockpiling. We need to start stockpiling fuel, fossil fuel.
Deal says the country may also need to start exploring alternative sources for fuel regardless of how long the conflict persists.
They have to just consider getting our fuel from somewhere else. And I think this is a great opportunity for the country to say, you know what? We are going to create our own path, and they can. They just have to decide that that's what they're going to do, and they could create their own path.
The Bahamas currently imports all of its fuel, mostly through U.S. suppliers. Stakeholders say contingency planning and monitoring will be key as the geopolitical situation unfolds. Layla Sands, Eyewitness News.
Shifting to our Eyewitness News daily poll, the U.S. has entered the Israel-Iran conflict, triggering a spike in oil prices and raising concerns about global supply disruptions for the Bahamas, which imports all of its fuel. This could mean higher energy costs, electricity bills, and rising prices across the board. We turn to social media to get the public opinion on the matter. You were asked, should the country invest more in alternative energy given the rising global oil uncertainty? 9% of participants voted absolutely, 0% voted somewhat, and 2% voted no. You were also asked, what alternative energy solutions would you like to see more of in the country? Some commenters published for greater use of solar, wind, and turbine energy, while others emphasized solar as essential for the future, crisis or not. However, one person argued solar isn't the best option and suggested hydrogen or nuclear as cheaper and safer alternatives. In other news, the Bahamas is turning up the heat on its tourism push this summer, this time in Canada for a sales mission. With new flights and big plans, officials are betting on a surge of Canadian visitors to the islands. Our Devante Hanna is live from Montreal.
Bonsoir, mademoiselle. I'm coming to you live from Montreal, Quebec, where the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Chester Cooper, is leading a high-level delegation here on a sales mission with the hopes of boosting tourist arrivals from Canada direct to the Bahamas. He says there are going to be some new airlines and some new travel routes that will be on tap. He touched on it just a few moments ago. Take a look.
We improved our arrivals from Canada by 50%. Compared to 2023, and in 2025, we're well on track to doing a repeat or better. I believe it's going to be better because we have great stakeholders. and we have great airlift, and our airlift is expanding. In fact, out of Montreal, we have Air Canada, we have WestJet Sunwing, and hopefully real soon we are going to be launching a new service that we're going to talk about in the next coming days. But we also have very, very active service coming out of new destinations like Ottawa and, of course, Halifax.
And with new direct flights on the horizon, marketing efforts have already ramped up to show Canadians that there is a lifetime of islands for them to visit in the Bahamas. Now, of course, we may be here in Montreal today, but tomorrow this team will head to Toronto so that they are able to speak with those high-level delegates from travel advisors to Canadian media and even airline executives hopefully to forge new partnerships and, of course, with the ultimate goal of strengthening the Bahamian economy. Janelle?
Thanks, Devontae. In news from the crime beat, police in the capital are investigating a deadly shooting which occurred in the Bamboo Town area just after 7 p.m. on Sunday. As the community mourns, the victim's family and loved ones are calling for justice. Our Delano Roker has that.
The family of the country's latest murder victim, identified as 21-year-old Harold Burrows, though declining to appear on camera, shared what they say led up to the tragic shooting. The mother of the victim's 2-year-old son telling Eyewitness News he had plans to play a round of dominoes with friends when a man on a motorcycle approached and opened fire. Chief Superintendent and Police Press Liaison Officer Sharia King, speaking with reporters at the scene, confirmed key details of what reportedly took place.
Our investigators have began probing into this matter. But what we can tell you thus far is that the victim, along with a group of males, were socializing in front of a residence on Taylor Drive. When occupants on a motorcycle pulled up, one of the occupants came off of the motorcycle, opened fire on the victim, fatally wounding that victim.
King stating bringing the perpetrator to justice remains a top priority for investigators.
As we always say, information that we provide the general public at this time may impede or compromise our investigation. Right now, this male in his early 20s is our victim, and we are going to investigate this as our victim to ensure that the family of this victim gets justice.
I'm standing right on Taylor Drive, where last night the 40th murder of the year took place, claiming the life of 21-year-old Harold Burrows, whose family said he was expected to begin his first day at KFC later today. Now, East Street is a popular business district, so I took to some businesses to find out how they feel about the uptick in crime.
Well, around here, there's not much crime happening around here. This is the East Street South area. When it comes to crime is always going to happen.
We try to keep everybody together, like a little family, like neighbor. So far, it's been safe. It's been safe. The only thing I would probably put a point on, probably sometime late at night, like Saturdays and stuff. Probably we could have a little patrol around something, but after that, it's safe.
Crime is everywhere. Basically, it's more so being aware, and it's aware of your surroundings and how you deal with your establishment, the people you affiliate with has a lot to do with it. You can take precautions, security surveillance.
Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
Meantime, 2 men are in hospital tonight after a brazen shooting in the Big Pond area on Monday afternoon that left them wounded. Eyewitness News arrived on scene moments before the victims were taken to hospital. They were shot while in front of a residence through Water Street. Now, Eyewitness News also spoke with residents in the area who claimed that one of the victims is a man in his 60s. Of course, those are unconfirmed reports. At this time, the status of both victims is unknown, and this is a story we will continue to follow. Also in news from the courts, police hauling before the courts its first suspect who they believe had a role to play in the botched armed robbery that left a police reservist dead. Our Jose Etienne has the latest in this report.
Prosecutors say 44-year-old Antoinette Henfield didn't pull the trigger, but she allegedly helped the man who did.
Charged as an accessory after the fact to murder, Henfield is now linked to the Father's Day killing of Reserve Police Inspector Lennox Williams. Williams was shot while making a deposit at the Royal Bank of Canada in the Palmdale Plaza. Surveillance video capturing a white Suzuki Swift, a group of gunmen, and a shocking shootout that left Williams and one of his attackers dead. But investigators say it's what happened next that tied Henfield to the case. She allegedly picked up the surviving suspects after they dumped their getaway car. Henfield is one of two people now in custody, along with 42-year-old Ronald Telford, who remains under police watch. Authorities are also looking for Shavaris Woodside, who shares the same address as Telford. When asked if Woodside is also believed to be involved for Williams' murder, here's how police responded.
I can not speak to that at this time.
Meantime, Henfield was granted $10,000 bail. She's due back in court on September 14th for a voluntary bill of indictment. Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
Almost a decade after a teenage passenger was killed while on a public bus, 3 men now await their fate after a Supreme Court jury convicted them of the manslaughter death of the 15-year-old honor roll student at the government high school. Dwayne Harris, Antonio Brown, and Jason Dorsley were unanimously acquitted of murder, but were found guilty of manslaughter and causing damage. The shocking incident happened back on March 11th, 2016. That's when prosecutors say the men flung rocks at a bus, breaking windows and fatally hitting Mazzelina Beauchamp in the head, who was a passenger on the public bus. According to the pathologist, Beauchamp had a fractured skull caused by blunt force trauma to the head. Bus driver Ezra Strawn testified that 4 to 5 men threw stones at his bus in the area of Lazaretto and Carmichael Roads. The trio has been remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services pending a sentencing hearing that will begin on September 25th. Also in news from the courts, a man now faces 4 years in prison for an armed robbery that he committed when he was just 13 years old. Siobhan Arthur, also known as Smokey, received the sentence as part of a plea deal that was concluded before Justice Franklin Williams. On November 6, 2018, the now 20-year-old and 2 others accosted Rebecca Johnson outside of her Eastern New Providence home and robbed her at gunpoint of a bag that contained $800 cash and 3 cell phones with a total value of $900. After completing his sentence, Arthur will be on probation for 2 years, and a probation violation will result in 3 years in prison. Meantime, local activist Candy Gibson is speaking out tonight after a 27-year-old father allegedly attacked a primary school principal with an iron object during a parent-teacher conference in East Grand Bahama on Friday, leaving her hospitalized with serious head injuries. The assault occurred around 10:30 a.m. when the parent, reportedly upset about his child's report card, allegedly hit the principal during a confrontation on school grounds. According to police, the woman suffered serious head injuries and was taken to the hospital, where her condition was initially listed as serious but stable. She has since been discharged. Gibson says this kind of behavior is unacceptable from parents, adding that it sets a dangerous precedent.
That is very bad, because if my father or mother deem it's okay to sell someone who's actually my parent away from home, what precedent am I setting as a parent? What precedent is okay for me to come here and be unruly and attack a teacher too then? No, man, we want to send a strong message that will not be tolerated on nobody's half, whether it be parent or teachers. And like I say again, the Bible tells us a kind word turn away wrath. Now, I wasn't there to say what happened, but I want to say this, young man, you are wrong for coming into school and whatever it was that brewed over to attack a teacher. These same teachers are your children parents from 9 to 3. And sometimes even before, because some parents let their school children go to school early 7:30, 8 o'clock, because they have to go to work. So respect is earned and respect is also given. So let's work together for a healthier, better Bahamas.
Meantime, coming just in from the U.S. Coast Guard, the District 7 takes the safety and security of all people in the maritime domain very seriously. While there have been no interdictions of former nationals attempting to enter Florida from the Bahamas in the past 30 days, we remain vigilant and committed to protecting lives at sea and securing our borders through ongoing operations. The service will detect, deter, and interdict illegal aliens, drug smugglers, and other individuals intending on terrorism attacks or hostile activity before they reach our borders. That's coming in from the U.S. Coast Guard. Also in news, officials are under scrutiny tonight after outraged residents are questioning whether or not authorities treat every case with the same sense of urgency, whether the victims are involved in law enforcement or ordinary citizens. A local activist is chiming in on the conversation with a different approach. Our Jose Etienne takes it from here.
With more disgruntled residents demanding urgency from police to solve the murders of their loved ones, amid fears that these cases are going cold, crime-fighting activist Candy Gibson is calling for balance.
We don't want the police arrest the wrong people too, because that with itself plays a significant role of retaliation in our country. Because once the police arrest you and put you out there, the street says you. I can tell you about that because I'm a prime example.
Her comments follow growing frustration that police moved quickly to charge suspects in the Father's Day killing of a reserve police inspector, but appear to be dragging their feet in other outstanding cases. Just days after Samantha Clark, the mother of a murdered father, spoke with Eyewitness News about her pain, more families have taken to social media, expressing their anguish and saying they're stuck in limbo, waiting for justice that may never come. And Gibson says it's a reality she knows all too well.
I feel bad because my first brother murdered gone just like that. No updates.
Police Commissioner Shanta Knowles has said that many cases stall due to lack of evidence, making it hard to prosecute offenders. But Gibson says that's no excuse for a lack of effort or communication.
They give you a number, you calling for years from King Hatches with a hammer. The people didn't answer the phone. Every blood count. Every life is important.
Jose Etienne, Eyewitness News.
In other news, the Anglican Central Education Authority and by extension Bishop Michael Eldon's school is denying any involvement with a prom allegedly hosted in Grand Bahama purporting to be that of said school. A video from the alleged event went viral showcasing a young man and his entrance in a green suit with a trail as members of the crowd cheered him on. Now many turned to social media to offer their take on the issue, some offering support and encouragement for the young man, others criticizing the school for what they deemed against Christian values. Now, according to the statement released late Sunday afternoon by the authority, no prom was planned, executed, or organized by the administration, faculty, or staff of Bishop Michael Eldon School, and no approval was given by the authority to host the event under the school's name. While the political wheels are gearing up ahead of the next general election, the Progressive Liberal Party hosting their first official campaign event since their 2026 campaign launch on Labor Day at the beginning of this month. Prime Minister Philip Davis joining representatives from the eastern constituencies at the Sir Charles Carter Park off Charles W. Saunders Highway. Our Jose Etienne is on the ground. Jose, what can you tell us?
Janelle, I'm here at the Sir Charles Carter Park here in Eastern New Providence, and I'm here for what the governing PLP is calling its Eastern Link Up. Now, again, I'm here, and it's lots of music, lots of a great turnout here at the park. As a matter of fact, I'm advised that the Prime Minister and leader of the PLP is here, and he's about to make his entrance onto the compound. But this is the Eastern Link Up, and this is being made up of constituencies here in Eastern New Providence, led by governing parliamentarians such as Zane Lightburn, who was the Member of Parliament for the Gamacroy area, Cabinet Minister, Minister of Energy and Transport, Jobeth Colby Davis, who was the Member of Parliament for, again, the Seabreeze area. And then you have Member of Parliament Leslie Bryce, who's the Member of Parliament for the Seabreeze area. And then other members of Parliament who are here, some who are part of this Eastern Link-Up, others who aren't, who are scattered throughout New Providence, but they're here in support of what's happening. Now, again, I can tell you, and I'm going to have the cameraman pan the camera. I'm even going to get out of the way just to show you what's happening. Again, a great turnout, scores of supporters of the PLP taking their seats. A number of them still on their feet. They're waiting on the entrance of the Prime Minister. He's about to make his way here in a moment. Again, you hear the MC saying take their seats. Of course, there is lots of support here on the grounds. Now, again, this is the first gathering for the PLP since the party launched its pre-election campaign on Labor Day. Of course, that was on the heels of the Labor Day parade. Notwithstanding the controversy that was surrounding that event, the PLP still went ahead and launched its pre-election campaign. And now here we are several days later on Sir Charles Carter Park, where several members of Parliament in Eastern New Providence have rallied their troops, have rallied their members, have rallied their supporters and their constituents to get together and to celebrate the cause of the PLP. Now, I'm standing here with the Member of Parliament for the Nassau Village area. Again, he's not a part, although his constituency is in the Eastern New Providence, he's not a part of this particular link-up, but nonetheless, he's here providing his support. Mr. MP, how's it going? Let's talk about your presence here today.
Yes. Well, it's a pleasure to be here to support my colleagues. They're in the Eastern Corridor. Nassau Village is in the Southern Corridor, so we're coming right after them. This is what we mean when we say unification. This is what we mean when we say energy. This is what we mean when we say motion. A party united, a government moving forward and progressing all the way.
Let's talk about what makes this particular gathering so unique, right? This is not the first time we've seen PLP members gather. I've attended several rally-like meetings, right? This one seems to be different by a landslide. Let's talk about that.
Well, you know, each member of parliament, each corridor has its unique flavor and has its unique put on everything. But what you're seeing is actually a leveling up. You're seeing an intensification as we get closer to the general election. So that's what you want. You want to just rev up the temperature little by little by little. So corridor by corridor, we're going to turn it up, galvanize the electorate, galvanize the base, and show you what a true and real party does.
And finally, what is the message that these MPs in this area are trying to convey to these constituents, to these members of the electorate?
It's just going to be better with Brave going forward. Remember, you're safe with Brave. You're safe with Brave. We are safe with Brave and PLP all the way.
Thank you. Again, you just heard from Member of Parliament for the Nassau Village area, Jamal Strawn. And even as he and I were having a chat just now, Janelle, moments ago, the Prime Minister, leader of the Progressive Liberal Party, just made his arrival, just made his entrance. And of course, he's being surrounded by lots of proud PLPs, lots of fanfare here, individuals waving their paraphernalia. And they're excited about this event. They're up on their feet. The Prime Minister is at the front of this event. Now, this is happening just on the heels of the Prime Minister wrapping up his budget communication. Government, in its view, has a lot to talk about, has a lot to brag about. And so here it is on the heels of that budget communication where government is bragging about a budget surplus. They're now gathering individuals to laud its efforts 4 years in. And so, of course, this is an indication, Janelle, that the governing Progressive Liberal Party is delving right into election mode. As far as they're concerned, it's safe with Brave, and they're trying to relay that message to members of the electorate. But for now, I'm Jose Edian, standing by here at the Sir Charles Carter Park, where the Eastern Link-Up is underway. Again, 4 members of Parliament from Eastern New Providence have linked up together under the patronage and the leadership of Prime Minister Philip Davis, where they're hoping to send a strong message to PLP voters. For now, I'm Jose Edian. Back to you, Janelle.
Thanks, Jose. Well, if you've got a news tip or if you've seen news in the making, call the Eye on News hotline at 397-6397. We also invite you to send your letters to the editor for publication on all of our social media platforms at eyewitnessnewsbahamas@gmail.com. And if you're watching on our Facebook or YouTube page, share your thoughts about today's top stories in the comments section. We want to hear from you. We are just getting started in Eyewitness News, but when we come back, Minister Halkitis defends the budget, touting a $75 million surplus. We've got that story coming up. And later, BAIC chairman is calling for an agricultural push to unlock Andros potential. We've got more on that right after this break.
While others see customers as numbers, we see our customers as people, neighbors, friends who deserve more than one-sided connections. That's why we are redefining what real connection is, by prioritizing our customers and showing our appreciation by putting our money where your loyalty is. BTC customers, claim your $200 Bahamas Air gift card when you add postpaid mobile to your internet plan. That's loyalty that flows both ways.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC? No, wait a minute.
Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC? KFC?
Crunch the routine with a tasty KFC bucket for $20. Plus, we'll handle all the dishes. That's right. No prep, no cleanup, no stress. KFC, it's finger licking good.
As a healthcare professional, you dedicate your life to caring for others. But even with the best care, legal challenges can arise. Protect your practice and your peace of mind with medical malpractice insurance from Star General. At Star General, we've partnered with Lloyd's of London to bring you comprehensive professional liability insurance designed specifically for those consulting or practicing privately. Visit our website today so you can focus on what you do best, caring for your patients while we take care of the rest. Star General, insurance made simple.
In 2010, a grant helped Bahamas striping group of companies get started. Today, that seed has grown into a national force, building roads, airports, and brighter futures. Now, we're leading the way through public-private partnerships, what we call 3Ps, where government vision meets private sector innovation. 3Ps empowers local subcontractors, giving them the chance to bid. And with every contract, we're putting money directly into communities, creating jobs, supporting families, and fueling growth. From roads in Eleuthera to community centers in the inner city, we're not just laying asphalt, we're laying foundations for financial opportunity. At Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, we believe in building more than infrastructure. We're building up Bahamians who build the Bahamas. 3Ps, public-private partnerships for people, progress, and prosperity.
This segment of Eyewitness News is brought to you by EV Motors. It's your last chance to get behind the wheel and drive the evolution. Secure the Toyota BZ4X, Mercedes-Benz EQB 260, Carry Cargo Van, or Carry Elephant X7 truck, with prices starting as low as $309.88 per month. Hurry, before they're gone. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Here's a look at your Eyewitness News gas tracker. Esso gas station has the lowest this week with $5.39. Rubis gas station at $5.48 and Shell gas station $5.46. Tonight, a family pleads for help. The loved ones of Patricia Fowler are desperately searching for her and need your assistance. We spoke with her husband, Charles Fowler, who revealed that Patricia has Alzheimer's. She was last seen this morning in the Winton Heights area. She was wearing a floral skirt and blouse and may have been carrying a bag.
Before I left to go to the hospital, that was around about 5 o'clock. And then when I reached back, about 10 o'clock, 10, 11 o'clock, she was in the house. Yeah, if they see her or come across her and give me a call and we'll come and get her. 445 4154.
With a projected $75 million surplus in the upcoming fiscal year, Minister of Economic Affairs and leader of government business in the Senate, Michael Halkitis, is defending the budget, making it clear to his Senate colleagues that every dollar will go toward paying down the national debt. He led off the debate on the budget in the upper chamber on Monday. Halkitis noted that the surplus is a sign of disciplined spending and sound fiscal management, adding that it represents a critical step toward long-term economic stability.
The amount of money that the government, people of the Bahamas have to pay just on the interest on the debt In 2017, that number was $273 million. In 2025, that number is expected to be $668 million. 2026 goes down to 602, and by 2027 we anticipate 565 million on interest. And so you see the trend going down. I didn't choose 2017 for any particular reason. It's just that that's the I wanted to give us a few years and to demonstrate that this goes across administrations. So from 273 million, more than double in less than 10 years. It's unsustainable because that means that is money that we're paying on interest that could be more properly invested.
The country's largest island has what it takes to feed the nation. That's the belief of the executive chairman of the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation, who's calling for a national push toward food security and self-sufficiency. Speaking at the Andros Business Outlook, the chairman urged Bahamians to rally behind efforts to unlock the island's full agricultural potential. Our Laurencia Smith has more.
Ongoing geopolitical tensions continue to disrupt global markets, with supply chains taking a major hit, especially when it comes to food. Here at home, where the vast majority of our food is imported, Senator Darren Pickstock is sounding the alarm. He says it's time to unlock the full potential of Andros, calling it a key to the country's food security. Pickstock stressed that food security isn't just an agricultural concern, it's a matter of national security.
90% of our food is imported. This means that our dinner plates is at the mercy of the distant markets, foreign suppliers, and global crises.
Pickstock, who has oversight of the Bahamas Agricultural and Industrial Corporation as executive chairman, made these comments during the Andros Business Outlook. The country's agricultural needs were addressed in the recent budget.
And expanding the national agricultural budget from $25 million to $35 million, a bold investment in our land, in our people, in our future.
Meantime, Pickstock highlighted a number of ongoing initiatives to strengthen local agriculture and reduce reliance on imports. He pointed to the Farmers Commercialization Pilot Program in North Andros, which connect farmers directly with wholesale buyers, generating over $312,000 in sales between December 2024 and May 2025.
The results were immediate and meaningful. In some months, farmers earned upwards to $20,000 per month. The North Andros pilot concluded in the month of May.
The senator highlighted the Golden Yoke Project, an aggressive initiative aimed to boost local egg production from 750,000 to more than 27 million a year, a major step toward cutting down the national dependency on imported eggs.
So our goal is to produce 13 million of those eggs in the Family Islands. The layer houses, the egg processing facilities, and a new feed mill, which I spoke about earlier. When fully executed, the project is slated to deliver 38 new grow houses across 12 Family Islands.
Nevertheless, Pickstock says Andros can wait no longer, adding that the island must become an agricultural engine for the Bahamas. Laurencia Smith, Eyewitness News.
Bahamas Power and Light is set to transform the power supply in North Andros with a new hybrid power plant designed to combine liquefied natural gas and solar energy. The facility will replace the former Nicholstown plant, which was destroyed by fire in 2023, resulting in losses estimated at over $5.6 million. Chief Operating Officer Anthony Christie confirmed the move during the Andros Business Outlook, noting that the company is finalizing agreements to support the upgrade.
BPL is implementing a new series of power purchase agreements. These agreements enable us to partner with independent developers to bring modern, efficient, and cleaner energy generation online more quickly and cost effectively. To date, we have signed 10 major PPA arrangements across the country.
The project includes a mix of thermal and solar generation expected to improve grid stability, reduce cost, and support growing demand across the island.
And the goal here is to introduce renewables into our mix, as well as more environmentally friendly fuel, which is the gas, natural gas, and again, be able to sustain and reduce the cost of electricity across the entire archipelago. Now, these agreements represent more than megawatts. They represent hundreds of construction jobs and operational jobs, opportunities for Bahamian businesses, and most importantly, a pathway to affordable and resilient power for communities that need it most.
In other news, well, this week they are taking care of your teens with the Ablaze Youth Retreat, but next week the team at Life Worship Center will be hosting a new and improved Vacation Bible School, paying close attention to the younger kids. That's those in or entering grade 1 to those that are heading into or recently graduated 6th grade. The team is being led by Vera Aqua Wilson, the minister of the Children's Ministry, and it's being held at Fusion Superplex for 5 days.
We are focusing on developing the child's body, mind, and spirit. So as well as Bible lessons, as well as fun and games, we'll be teaching them about dieting. We'll be teaching them about how they present themselves, how they walk in the room and create a good first impression. And of course, we'll be teaching them about the Bible, teaching them about Jesus, teaching them how to walk a Christian walk even as a child. I think now more than ever, this is crucial because our children are being exposed at a younger and younger age. So we can't water down the gospel. We can't water down the version of Jesus we give them. We have to ensure that we are intentional about teaching them the Bible. We have to be intentional about exposing them to the presence of God. And so that's what we'll be doing this week. So our Vacation Bible School has grown exponentially over the years. And so this year we'll be holding it at the Fusion Superplex, which we're super excited about. We'll be holding it from Monday, the 30th of June, to Friday, the 4th of July, which is our longest Vacation Bible School yet. So that's 5 days, 6 hours a day from 9 to 3 p.m. You can drop your kids off and they will be our responsibility. We'll be feeding them. They will have sessions every day. We have
As temperatures continue to rise across the region, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has issued a heat advisory urging residents to take precautions during the hottest parts of the day. Local meteorologist Shavari Watson-Ramming notes that the Bahamas is not currently facing the same temperature threats as our northern neighbors.
As you know, we're in the summer months. We do advise the public to remain vigilant as temperatures continue to climb across the Bahamas. Now, for right now, we're not sending out any heat advisories due to the fact that at this present time, the Bahamas is not under threat of a heat watch. We do take into consideration that the northeastern portion of the U.S. is under a heat dome. Therefore, they will be issuing their heat advisories, but the Bahamas Department of Meteorology is committed to ensuring that the public remains safe during the summer months, and we will continuously be watching the heat indices on a daily basis to ensure that we could inform the public in a timely manner when these conditions will occur.
Watson-Ramming adds that while the risk of extreme heat in the Bahamas is lower than other countries, residents should still be cautious.
We do advise the public at large to stay hydrated. Make sure you stay cool and avoid strenuous outdoor activity during your peak heat hours, which would be between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And you should stay in the shade or in air-conditioned areas when possible. Always dress appropriately during the summer. Try to more so utilize light-colored, loose-fitting clothing. Also, use sunscreen. Make sure you check on others, especially children and the elderly. You should also make sure that you take into consideration your pets as well, and not to leave children or pets in vehicles, and make sure that your pets are also well hydrated.
Well, still to come in Eyewitness News, rugby returns to the Bahamas as the Renegades face off against Jamaica. That's coming up, but first here's a check on tonight's weather forecast.
make every moment unforgettable with Shop Smart. From colorful floaties and water guns to light vests that keep fun safe, we've got everything you need to dive into the season. Planning a beach picnic? We've got the cutest sets and coolest bubbles to bring the vibes. And don't forget our trendy swimwear for all ages. Summer starts here, only at Shop Smart. Your Miracle, number 122 Market Street.
You again today? Yes, ma'am, Miss Villa. It's me again, but not for another household expenditure survey. As promised, your $70 voucher.
Money never come too late. Here I come. I'm girl.
Smell, I just want to take the time out to thank you for your willingness, for your participation in this household expenditure survey.
It was my pleasure. I'm going to take my gift certificate. I'm going to buy my fruits and vegetables. Thank you, Jesus.
Everything that you share with BNSI stays private by law. We don't name names, we just count what matters. All that we ask is that you be honest. Finish the survey so we can truly represent our communities.
Complete your household expenditure survey and receive your $70 food or gas voucher.
We're back! Playhouse and Sound Investment presents your Back to the 90s Volume 11, July 12th at Breezers. From Volume 1 to Volume 10, Playhouse brings to you the most anticipated Back to the 90s party at July 12th at Breezers. Party with some of your favorite Playhouse DJs, Big L, AI, Pressure, alongside Extra Large and DJ Tank with special guest DJs like Tiny. Hosted by yours truly, Joe Cools, and my brother, DJ Bravo. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Rock the night away with Reggie Stepper, performing live, Kimbo King, modeling, and so much more. Early bird tickets are limited. Get yours today. Tickets available, cash and go, Tropics, On the Bay, and any of your favorite Playhouse DJs. For tables or Skybox, contact 819-2900. Playhouse, Back to the 90s, sponsored by Sound Investment, Guinness, Hennessy, Paradise Games, Tropics on the Bay, Cash and Go, and Alive.
At BOB, we take pride in our business banking.
I chose Bank of the Bahamas because it was a Bahamian-owned bank. The bank has certainly supported our evolution through overdraft facilities, purchasing of equipment, facilitating of salary payments, and I really believe that Bank of the Bahamas is able to help in the development of the local economy. I would truly recommend the services at Bank of the Bahamas.
You're watching Eyewitness News.
This is Eyewitness News and welcome back. Well, the Bahamas, the Bahamian Renegades, took to the field in a spirited clash against their Caribbean rivals from Jamaica. And while the scoreboard didn't swing in their favor, this time's team spirit is alive and well. Delano Roker brings us the highlights from the match and what's next for Team Bahamas.
It was a high-energy showdown this past weekend as the Bahamas national rugby team faced off against Jamaica in a long-anticipated return to competitive play. The final score, Jamaica 52, Bahamas 15. Head coach Stephen Thompson says months of preparation have laid a strong foundation for growth.
So we knew, we just started we brought a team together a few weeks ago. We knew we'd be playing against a very good Jamaican squad. Most of the guys on the Jamaican side live and play rugby in the UK. We knew it would be tough. We switched our offensive system. I thought the guys played really well in that system today. We knew it would be a very physical game. As you can see, it was a very physical game. I think at the end of the day, I think we kind of did what we thought we wanted to do. They were just better than us today.
Following the loss, Team Bahamas is anything but downcast. Players are already turning their focus to the next showdown with high hopes and renewed determinations.
So really just between May and now is when we really just dedicated time to the national team.
To be a good rugby player, you have to play a lot of rugby. This is the first time this team has played since last June. So really, we need to play probably six of these matches a year to build. And we're in a program. Our program is evolving and developing. And this next 12 months, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to play more rugby.
The home team may not have taken the win, but for Jumani Bant and mates, this match was more than about the scoreboard. They're celebrating the hard work and commitment that brought them this far.
For so long, due to some injuries, unfortunate injuries. To be honest, we've travelled so far,
why not win, you know? So put in as much effort as we can to do so. So I'm really happy that we won.
Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
Still to come in Eyewitness News, the latest sports updates are next.
Good evening, Janelle. While the country's top swimmers making a big splash over the weekend at the Swim Nationals, I'll tell you who has bragging rights right after this quick break.
Why did we decide to put together our country's first nationwide comprehensive energy reforms? We knew that there were no easy answers. BPL was more than $500 million in debt when we came in, operating a failed electricity grid with key components on the verge of collapse. A grid incapable of transmitting solar energy. Changing all of this is a huge project, one that is finally underway. The sky-high bills, the chronic power outages, they've hurt Bahamian families and Bahamian businesses. We are going to leave all of that in the past. We are taking it all on, and transforming energy is going to transform our economy. Go online now to learn more.
You again today? Yes, ma'am, Miss Villa. It's me again, but not for another household expenditure survey. As promised, your $70 voucher.
Money never come too late. Here I come. I'm girl.
Smell, I just want to take the time out to thank you for your willingness, for your participation in this household expenditure survey.
It was my pleasure. I'm going to take my gift certificate. I'm going to buy my fruits and vegetables. Thank you, Jesus.
Everything that you share with BNSI stays private by law. We don't name names, we just count what matters. All that we ask is that you be honest. Finish the survey so we can truly represent our communities.
Complete your household expenditure survey and receive your $70 food or gas voucher.
What you doing there?
I'm getting ready for this heat, boy. But you want to see what in this box? The ghost pepper chicken sandwich, boy. Get an apple pie, fries, and ghost pepper chicken wing. You see it? You look at me? Four. Yeah, boy.
Try our new ghost pepper chicken box today. Available for a limited time only.
Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Thinking of ways to save is easy at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Sea Bass Chunk Tuna, 5 ounces, 2 for $1.89. Country Barn Mayonnaise, 30 ounces, $3.49. Whole watermelons, $5.99 each. Danish spare ribs, $2.59 per pound. Whole chickens, $1.89 per pound. Join the Super Value Quality Points program at any Super Value or Quality supermarkets.
Eyewitness Sports is brought to you by 103.5 The Beat.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Eyewitness Sports. I'm Laurencia Smith. Thanks for joining us. Topping our sports roundup tonight, we're on the pool deck. Mako Aquatics Club proving once again why they're considered a swimming powerhouse, dominating from start to finish at the 53rd National Swim Championships. The fording meet held at the Betty Kelly Kenny Aquatics Complex saw Mako claiming their 7th straight national title, racking up a meet leading 3,109 points in the process. Head coach Travano McPhee says he's proud of his swimmers and their performances.
How do you feel? Yeah, it feels good, man. 7 straight at Grifter, 7 straight at Nationals. This one feels good. But besides all of the points, the swimmers swam amazing, a lot of records, a lot of personal best times. So it's good to see the hard work and the goals that we set out and put in place in September really pay off, over the 4 days.
There were some record-breaking moments, among them Bahamian Olympian Lamar Taylor setting multiple meet records, among them a standout swim in the boys 18 and over 100-meter freestyle, where he touched the wall first in a time of 49.36 seconds, narrowly edging out the previous record of 49.44 seconds. Along with record-breaking performances, there was history made. For the first time ever, there was a three-way tie in the High Point Award in the 11-12 girls division. Isabella Munro, Taylor Nichols, and Sienna Campbell, all coming from Mako. Now we spoke with the ladies' club mate, Arrington Monker, and he shared the importance of the winning culture that Mako has fostered.
Watching such talented swimmers from 8 and under all the way up to 18 and over, Mako really produces some of the best swimmers this country has to offer. And if you take a look at the Caribbean team, majority of that team comes from Mako.
With more than 500 swimmers diving into action over the 4-day meet, standout performances came from all across the pool. While Mako dominated the leading board, Alpha Aquatics put a strong fight up, securing second place with 1,381 points. Not far behind, the Barracuda Swim Club round up the top 3 with a solid 1,330 points, capping off a weekend of fierce competition and record-breaking swims. Congratulations to all of our young swimmers from us here at Eyewitness Sports. Now in news from the NBA. The Oklahoma City Thunders are the 2024-2025 NBA champions. In news from the NBA, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the 2024-2025 NBA champions. They sealed the deal with a hard-fought 103-91 victory in Game 7 over the Indiana Pacers, who pushed them to the brink in a thrilling 7-game series. It was a historic moment for OKC, claiming their first ever title under the Thunder name. And capping off a stellar season, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was named Finals MVP, taking home the Bill Russell Trophy after one of the most dominant individual campaigns in league history. Well, that's what's making sports at this hour. I'm Laurencia Smith. Stay tuned for more news on the other side of the break.
Coming up and Beyond the Headlines with Shanique Miller. More on today's top stories. That's coming up and Beyond the Headlines. That starts right after this. And that does it for us here at Eyewitness News. It's certainly been a pleasure having you in our company tonight. Once again, I'm Janelle Longley, and on behalf of the entire news team, good night.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
I want Bahama Grill when I get hungry. Call us at 356-4745. Barbecue pork ribs or baby back and the beef brisket. You got to try that. Add mac and cheese, potato salad, plantain and rice. I go too. Call 356-4745. I want Bahama Grill, morning, noon or night. Donkey Kong grill or fry some soup and snapper. Fresh veg, green salad, even roast corn. Once you visit Bahama Grill, you want to come back.
Ready to insure your ride? Our new website is ready for you. Visit jsjohnson.com. Select coverages, go to Motor, and click Get a Quote. We have made it easier than ever to request a quote online. Fill in all the required fields. When you're done, hit Submit. You'll receive a response via email within 24 hours. Visit jsjohnson.com today.
Measles is on the rise around the world, and the Bahamas is at risk,
which makes us very vulnerable as a nation for the possible outbreak of measles cases.
Every Saturday in May from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.,
The Ministry of Health and Wellness will host MMR immunization visits in South Beach, Coconut Grove, Fox Hill, and Elizabeth Estates. Clinics in these areas will remain open until 8 p.m. twice per week. Get your child immunized now.
Join us on Social Mania, a new and dynamic game show based on the Ministry of Education's primary and junior high school social studies curriculum. Students from schools across the Bahamas go head-to-head as their knowledge of social studies is challenged. In this episode, Woodcock Primary battles with Columbus Primary. Which school will emerge as winner? To find out, join us as these two schools engage in intense competition. Don't miss it! Winning the All Bahamas Merit Scholarship is a major feat and a dream come true for Bahamian students who seek to pursue a tertiary education. Shakaden Wells, the 2024 winner, tells us what the achievement means to him.
It means the world, honestly. It shows that I have the backing of the Bahamian government here, and that's extremely important to me, especially since the Bahamas is the place that I call home and the place that all of my family calls home, and it's where I want to see the greatest change come from me.
The scholar gives us a snippet of the steps that contribute to his success.
Definitely schedule making is one of the main things that I use in college now. Mapping out the amount of time you want to spend doing certain homeworks, trying to get all your homework done within the allotted time. Because in high school in Queens College there's a zero lateness policy. So that definitely helps reinforce the deadline in university. When I was going through high school, there were so many times when I asked my mom for help or asked my teachers for guidance or asked questions to my friends, and those kind of things are what I do now in university. I still call my mom about certain questions, even though she might not be able to help me. She could just help my spirit a little bit, calm down a little bit. I still ask my roommate to this day about questions in physics or chemistry or whatever subject that he can help me with. And vice versa.
And he gives advice to all students.
You can do anything that you set your mind to. A lot of people sometimes believe that some of your goals that you set can be a little bit far-fetched. But I believe that if you pray and put in the hard work and rely on those around you, that every single person under the sound of my voice can find success.
I'm Adama Williams for Ed Talk.
Win a brand new 2026 GAC MPOW every week for 5 weeks. Every 10 reward points earns you 1 digital entry. The more entries you gain, the better your chances to win. 5 weeks, 5 cars. Will you be one of our lucky winners? Catch the keys today, only at Island Luck. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so game responsibly.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space? The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, Iranians and Russians seen to be illegally entering the United States through the Bahamas. Tonight, Bahamian officials across the board ask, where is the proof? Meanwhile, does the United States Congresswoman who reportedly made the assertion owe the Bahamas an apology? Also tonight, as tensions heighten in the Middle East, two Bahamians find themselves in the middle of it all. They're students in Qatar. At this hour, the PLP gearing steam as the party prepares for the general election. Tonight, the Eastern Link is in full swing. We talk about it. This after a surprise hopeful makes a first official appearance in MyCal, hoping to get a PLP nomination. And speaking of nomination, the Free National Movement South and Central Eleuthera nomination process under the spotlight tonight, as one of the frontrunners says a voting process over the weekend was flawed. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. Well, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is seeking urgent clarification from the United States following reports circulating on social media made by Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna that a group of Iranians and Russians were interdicted by the U.S. Coast Guard after allegedly entering from the Bahamas. In a statement issued today, the ministry confirmed that no security agency in the Bahamas is aware of any such incident. Well, now, just under an hour ago, the U.S. Coast Guard issued a statement on the matter. The statement reads, the U.S. Coast Guard, District 7, takes safety and security of all people in the maritime domain very seriously. While there has been no interdictions of foreign nationals attempting to enter Florida from the Bahamas in the past 30 days, we remain vigilant and committed to protecting lives at sea and securing our borders. Through ongoing operations, the service will detect, deter, and interdict illegal aliens, drug smugglers, and other individuals intent on terrorism or hostile activity before they reach our border. That again is from the U.S. Coast Guard, issued a short while ago, just under an hour ago, in response to the U.S. Congresswoman assertions. Can you imagine that? I mean, at a time like this when tensions are high everywhere in the world, and rightly so, someone is going to go casually and just put out there that these people entered the United States from the Bahamas, coming from the Bahamas. Well, we're going to jump in right there this evening. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Beyond the Headlines contributors, Ellington Ferguson and Garth Roseborough. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Certainly it's a pleasure to be here once again.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here on this cool night. What a hot day it was, Shanique. But I'm glad to be in the coolness of the night.
Yeah, I hope you all paid attention to that Ministry of Health, Department of Meteorology alert about the heat index warning. But we'll get to that hopefully. And then, of course, later in the week, we hope to have a meteorologist here as well to speak on that and the hurricane season. But let's go into this, gentlemen. This is very serious. This big things now. You know, this right here, talk about hot. For a U.S. Congresswoman to have put that out there and just rested casually. How irresponsible is that?
It is absolutely irresponsible and reckless. And this speaks to how easily it is for ignorance to enter into leadership, whether it's in Congress or in the White House or here in our own parliament. And that's why we as voters, we've got to really look at people and away from looking at the whole as a party, look at individuals for who they are. What are they bringing to the table? This is a level of ignorance that should have never been able to sit in the Congress. But somebody probably just wanted to get rid of somebody. This is very irresponsible. I think the Bahamas government need to call upon the U.S. and have this woman make an apology. The statement from the Coast Guard is all fine. We need an apology. Things like that is damning. Okay, obviously she said it to try and hurt and to scandal the name of the Bahamian people. It's unfair, it's not right, and it should be retracted. She said it publicly, it should be retracted publicly.
Well, I would say, Mr. Ferguson, Shanique Miller, good night to everyone once again. When you look at the waters of the Bahamas, it's extremely extensive. It's extremely difficult to actually manage and to monitor our waters. We have been having a history of people migrating from the south into North America. We've even had cases of people from as far as China coming through the Bahamas into America. This lady's making a statement. What we do need is we need proof. If we can have some proof that this is actually happening, then maybe this may merit assistance, a more serious level of assistance from the United States government in terms of our migration control. Mr. Ellington, could you imagine if America was really serious about immigration situations in the Bahamas, that we can actually begin to prevent people coming from the south into the Bahamas and into America? I think this may be just simply a situation where this may actually take place. And so we are waiting for the proof, and if this is so, we would then say, America, now that you're aware of this, we need assistance, we need help, let's make it a reality.
But Garth, based on the Coast Guard, there is no such thing that has happened, number one. Number two, we have good cooperation with the United States of America. The U.S. Coast Guards on a daily basis is patrolling our waters, and there have been many cases and instances where they have interdicted boats and turned them over to the Bahamian authorities, whether it's drug boats or illegal migration. And so it's no excuse for this, and this just needs to be retracted.
You want the proof now, is what you're
No, I don't want the proof. It's already, the Coast Guard already said no such thing happened.
So you're denying that this actually could have happened?
Pardon me?
Are you denying that this could have actually happened?
Her words is that the Coast Guard interdicted them. The Coast Guard already stated that no such thing has happened. So therefore, she needs to say where she get it from. Because it's not the Coast Guard. She probably have her own Coast Guard. And she needs to be made to retract that statement.
So we need proof.
We don't need proof.
We don't need proof.
We need an apology.
We need, in this social media age where everybody is irresponsible and just babbling stupidness, to be responsible. When you have small island nations like the Bahamas that depend heavily on outside forces in terms of tourism, travel, all the rest of it, ma'am, you owe this nation an apology, and quite frankly, I just wish more could have been done.
And it's ignorant of you to do such a thing.
It's quite ignorant. Okay, y'all in the U.S. have real issues in your political system. Don't bring none of that here, because we got our own. Meanwhile, you all, officials are monitoring the status of two Bahamians studying in Qatar as tensions continue, same thing, to escalate between Iran and Israel following a recent bombing by the United States. Laurencia Smith has more on the status of those two Bahamians.
As far as we know, there are two Bahamians in Qatar now, in Doha. They report that they're safe, and we've told them to just remain in place until further notice. And I noticed that some airlines have in fact canceled flights into that area until September.
Mitchell says his ministry is closely monitoring developments in the Middle East following Monday's missile attack by Iran, targeting U.S. bases in that region. International media confirmed the missiles were intercepted by Qatar Air Defense System, and no injuries were reported. Now, the minister also added that Bahamians scheduled to travel to that part of the world had their flights canceled as the tensions continue to escalate. The big question is now, what impact will this have on the Bahamas?
Operate in the normal, cautious fashion that they would. The world is obviously in a period of instability. This happens from time to time. So my suggestion is a country like us that's really on the periphery. It's unlikely that we'd be at the center of this.
Mitchell is also urging Bahamians traveling to the U.S. to take normal security precautions, particularly when visiting Washington, D.C. and other major cities.
To the U.S., and this would include students, that you should stay away from political demonstrations. Don't get involved in it. Make sure that you carry your papers with you at all times, and remain within the law.
And from the regional front, CARICOM's Council for Foreign and Community Relations says it's deeply distressed by the escalating violence and humanitarian crisis in Gaza, warning that tensions across the Middle East is now threatening global stability.
The view of our countries that the world suffers when there's war, and that war needs to be de-escalated, and that the parties ought to step back from the breach. That's general advice, which we always give.
Now,
Well, like Ellington and Garth, I tell you, it's quite, I don't know, interesting. I imagine how they're feeling on pins and needles. Well, everybody, whether you're near or far, you can imagine being here in the Bahamas, and especially if you pay attention to social media. That's the thing about social media. You just looking up in the sky any minute to see something flying over on this end. But imagine those Bahamians there. Of course, Foreign Affairs, you see Minister Mitchell talk about it. They are obviously monitoring them and hopefully trying to give good advice as much as they can at this point. Do you suppose maybe it's in their best interest to stay put, or maybe try to get closer to this part of the world?
Well, let me put it like this. We're not sure where this is going to go. We've heard other group, Hezbollah, said that they're watching the situation and they're not ruling out getting involved. You know who they're loyal to. I think unless you have to be in that region right now, in that area, I don't think you should stay really, because this could escalate overnight into something way beyond what we're seeing right now. And at that point, there's going to be no travel. There's going to be no airlift. Everything will be suspended immediately as it relates to travel and airlift. And so I think this is becoming very, very hostile. Iran is not standing down at this stage of the game. And both America and Israel is going to do everything that they think possible, necessary, to disarm Iran of any capability of creating a nuclear bomb, nuclear enrichment. So this is something that persons that are in that region, if you can leave right now, I heard the Minister of Foreign Affairs, and I support what he said, but I would go further and ask you to, please, if you don't have to be there, make your way back home in safety zone for right now.
Yeah, I couldn't say it any better, but my prayers go out to the families and to those people who are there, those two Bahamian citizens that are there. A window of opportunity, if it does manage to just go ahead and just make itself available, I would ask the Bahamian government and anyone else who can assist to get them out of there as quickly as possible. But the minister's words to remain where you are at this particular time would probably be some safe suggestion that if you do now feel safe and as if you are going to avoid any catastrophe, just stay prayerful, keep us informed. But like I would say, Mr. Ferguson, Shanique Miller, any opportunity that we can get you home, I think that it's merited, and we're praying for you continuously.
Meanwhile, gentlemen, before we go on to continue our discussion, just from the police right now, one man has been shot and killed just this evening. Monitoring it right now. That happened in the Market Street area, and so the victim has succumbed at the scene. Meanwhile, gentlemen, continuing with this, we know that what this would potentially meaning the Middle East conflict, and now the U.S. is involved, and there's just so much going on. It's really fluid. Deputy Prime Minister Chester Cooper says the ripple effects of the escalating conflict in the Middle East may soon hit closer to home. In the wake of the attack, Cooper says what's unfolding adds to a growing threat of regional instability. He says it could signal the start of a time filled with global economic uncertainty.
That is true.
This is just the beginning, I believe, of
that is true. I thought about that.
A crisis, this phase of this crisis, and we don't know how it will continue to unfold, and therefore it creates uncertainty. When there is uncertainty, people tend to stay put. They stay at home, which is not good for tourism, not good for the economy, there is disruption in supply chain. Again, not a positive for the economy. There's a possibility of increase in oil prices. Again, we are a country that's very open, that grapples with the cost of living, not brought on by anything we do directly, but because we're so open, we just need to deal with it. We follow international protocols. We have a great national security team, national intelligence agency that collaborates with the international community, and they monitor trends, they look for risk, and they advise appropriately when necessary. We have been extremely fortunate in the Bahamas. We not have had any major incidences. We hope that this will continue.
I tell you, it's something, this is what no one wants to hear in terms of the fallout from this conflict. You all heard, and it's something that we are just kind of breathing a sigh of relief from, and even just hoping that the price of gas goes down even further. But now we are staring in the face of a potential price increase again. Your thoughts? Because it is a real possibility. In fact, maybe not even possibility. It's like, okay, when?
Absolutely, Shanique, and the Deputy Prime Minister is absolutely correct. And we're going to see some fallout of this. Iran has already taken some measures to stop some vessels passing through its waters, and we're going to see that more and more in the region. You heard China and Russia denouncing the United States. Russia is going to use this leverage to do more aggression on Ukraine, because now as far as Russia is concerned, you're doing this, so you can't say nothing to me. And so, yes, Bahamians need to really pay close attention to this, buckle down all unnecessary spending and splurging. I think you need to put a hold on those type of things, and let's be prepared for what's coming. This reminds me of the Gulf in the war in the Gulf some years ago. Things can come to a halt quickly here. Global travel can be affected. As a matter of fact, I'm sure the hoteliers here will tell you now, we've already seen things slow down somewhat here already, and so we just need to tighten up our belts and hope for the best.
How about in the overall industry? Have you all begun seeing a slowdown?
Yes, we have. We have seen a slowdown in people traveling. People are already looking and kind of the uncertainty of what's going on globally. And so people are not moving like they you wanted to. Some bookings have been canceled. A lot of people are doing little short-term booking right now at the spur of the moment. And so, yes, well, I want to say to tourists, especially the majority of our tourists come from the Bahamas, is still the safest place outside of your mainland U.S., both Americans and Canadians. So you can still come on vacation.
Very well said, sir. Very well said.
Listen, gentlemen, I want to go to this other story before we go to our first break. This one, it's related. A sharp increase in oil prices following U.S. airstrikes on Iran. It has industry insiders here locally really on edge, and they are monitoring closely exactly what that can mean. We all know exactly how we fought to have gas prices be where they are and every other related thing, because once the price of fuel goes up, then so goes the cost of living. Yes.
Cost of goods,
yeah.
All of that is
and inflation already is a situation here that, trying to grapple with and bring some sort of balance and stability to. So certainly this is something that we will continue to watch. Well, when we come back after the break, we're going to shift gears and train our eyes on politics. Right now, I'm talking right at this very moment, the PLP is in the middle of something called the Eastern Link. We'll talk about that right after this.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
We're back! Playhouse and Sound Investment presents your Back to the 90s Volume 11, July 12th at Breezers. From Volume 1 to Volume 10, Playhouse brings to you the most anticipated Back to the 90s party yet. July 12th at Breezers. Party with some of your favorite Playhouse DJs, Big L, AI, Pressure, alongside Extra Large and DJ Tank, with special guest DJs like Tiny. Hosted by yours truly, Joe Cools, and my brother, DJ Bravo. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Rock the night away with Reggie Stepper, performing live, Kimbo King, modeling, and so much more. Early bird tickets are limited. Get yours today. Tickets available, cash and go, Tropics, On the Bay, and any of your favorite Playhouse DJs. For tables or Skybox, contact 819-2900. Playhouse, Back to the 90s, sponsored by Sound Investment, Guinness, Hennessy, Paradise Games, Tropics on the Bay, Cash and Go, and Alive.
Win a brand new 2026 GAC MPOW every week for 5 weeks. Every 10 reward points earns you 1 digital entry. The more entries you gain, the better your chances to win. 5 weeks, 5 cars. Will you be one of our lucky winners? Catch the keys today, only at Island Luck. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so game responsibly.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, let's keep it moving this evening. The political wheels in motion tonight. The Progressive Liberal Party is hosting its first official campaign event since its launch of the 2026 election campaign on Labor Day. Prime Minister Davis is the keynote. He's joining representatives from the eastern constituencies at the Sir Charles Carter Park off Charles Saunders Highway. Jose Etienne is live at the Eastern Link event. Jose, good evening to you, and please tell us, what is the mood out there tonight?
Shanique, first of all, I'm going to do my best to compete with the music in the background, but this is a clear, obvious right as to what's happening here. The Sir Charles Carter Park is permeated. It's full with PLP supporters as they're celebrating and convening their first Eastern Link Up. This is being made up of members of Parliament who are representing the constituencies here in the Eastern New Providence area. So, for example, you have members of Parliament and their constituents from Fox Hill, from Seabreeze, from the Elizabeth Estates area, and from Yamacraw. So that's Zane Lightburn, that's Jobeth Colby Davis, that's Leslie Miller, and that's Fred Mitchell, who's also the chairman of the PLP. And so, for the first time, the PLP is hosting its Eastern Link Up. And so, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna get out the way. Let's see if we can show more of what's happening. You can see now individuals getting juiced up, getting amped up as celebrations are clearly underway. And so on the side of me is Member of Parliament for Series Leslie Bryce Miller. Moments ago, she just got off the podium addressing hundreds of PLP supporters here. Again, the Prime Minister, the party's leader, is also here as well. He's expected to headline this event. So far, we heard from Ms. Miller while she was on the podium giving a charge to PLP supporters. Ms. Miller, of course, we're trying to compete with the music here, right? Moments ago, you just gave a charge to PLP supporters. Let's talk about the drive behind your message.
If you have a problem with the PLP, go talk to that PLP. If you have a problem with leadership, your MP, your minister, go find them and talk to them. It's no need for us to air whatever our challenges is, whatever our differences is, out on social media. We need to do better. And I think after this charge tonight, PLPs will do better.
I heard you give a charge, in particular you admonish these individuals to abolish this flip-flop system that we've seen in politics where individuals vote governments out. There's a change in government every 5 years, so to speak. That's been the case in recent years. Why did you feel so compelled to say that?
Because we have work to do. We've started. The projects have started. The investments have started. Minister Glenys Hanna Martin, she's changing the environment of the schools. But we can't stop now. We have to keep going. And so I'm asking for PLPs and for the Bahamian public to give the PLP under the Philip Brave Davis administration another term.
Thank you, Madam MP. Again, you just heard from Member of Parliament for the Seabreeze area, Leslie Miller Bryce, who's giving a charge to PLP supporters to give this government, this Davis administration, a second chance. Now, Shanique, I'm standing by here. In a moment, we're expected to hear from the party's leader, Prime Minister Philip Davis. He's expected to headline this event. Of course, he's going to do so once the various members of Parliament who've convened here have spoken. Of course, we heard from Leslie Miller Bryce. She spoke already. Before her was the party's chairman, Fred Mitchell, who obviously represents the Fox Hill area. In a moment, we're going to hear from Elizabeth Estates Member of Parliament, JoBeth Colby Davis. She's the Minister of Energy. We're going to hear from Zane Lightburn, the Minister of State for the Environment, and the Member of Parliament for the Yamoussoukro area. And after they would have all spoken, we're going to hear from Prime Minister Philip Davis, who is expected, again, as we've said, to headline this event and wrap this up. This is happening, again, just days after the PLP launched its pre-election campaign on Labor Day. Days later, we're here for the Eastern Link-Up. And so this is all happening now. This is developing. We're going to have more on this as we continue to ground this area for the night. Sending it back to you, Shanique.
Thank you so much, Jose. Jose Etienne, live in the Eastern District of New Providence along Charles Saunders Highway, where the Progressive Liberal Party in its first official campaign event, it's called the Eastern Link. You saw, of course, Seabreeze Member of Parliament, Leslie Miller Bryce, speaking with Jose there a moment ago. But gentlemen, I want to bring you both in. This sort of going from district to district and bringing a handful of constituencies and members of Parliament together and going about New Providence, and then of course spreading that like throughout the nation, really is something that both major parties in particular have taken to doing. I imagine it's putting feelers out there to see where the people are, where the temperature is, what the energy is, where the interest is.
Absolutely, Shanique. And I saw there, I drove past there a while ago, and the Progressive Liberal Party, like you say, is putting the feelers out there. They're going into these communities, they're engaging these communities, and there's a level of energy that is beginning to take shape within the Progressive Liberal Party. The Progressive Liberal Party is really putting the appeal out there and trying to engage the Bahamian people in their attempt for a second term. And they're really looking good. They're putting their message out there. I think the Free National Movement should have been out there, head up with them, but the PLP has got the lead on them now. They've got the out of the gate, and they're really demonstrating that they're serious about continuing the work that they've started to do, and they're serious about asking the Bahamian people for a second term. It's really, really very, very impressive.
Well, if we truly understand the Bahamian citizenry in terms of the electorate, the Progressive Liberal Party has always been afforded an extremely large base of support. The Free National Movement has had the second largest base, very close, by the way. But we have known the trend in the past where disgruntled PLPs have voted with the Free National Movement in order to bring a victory to the Free National Movement. What the Free National Movement is now facing, Shanique Miller, is that there's now schism within its party, and then you have a growing coalition of independents coming out of nowhere who are stealing electorates. And so the FNM right now has found itself squeezed in the middle, and the PLP recognizes that. And so what the PLP is now doing is they're now strengthening themselves. They're calling the PLPs, the base people, to stay with the PLP. And those who were considering going over to any other entity, whether it's the COI or the Free National Movement, you now need to come home. We're going to prove it to you that whatever your issue is, according to Leslie Miller Bryce, we're going to prove it to you. We're going to repair our relationships. We're going to go to work. We're going to ensure that we can secure a victory for the next upcoming election. This is now the 4th year going into the election. I said it to you all before. If the Progressive Liberal Party gets out of the gate first after 4 years and you have not yet responded, you have not yet properly challenged them, you are in trouble. And tonight, trouble has officially begun.
What do you all make of Leslie's? She obviously just spoke. Jose pulled her from the moment just when she stepped off the stage. And she's like, listen, if there's an issue, we know political organizations have issues all the time. It's not synonymous with one group over the next. It's all of them.
Absolutely.
But if you have an issue, one, keep it in-house and go seek out the individual you need to speak with. What do you all thought of that?
I think that is very good that they made that appeal publicly to their supporters. There has been some issues from Progressive Liberal Party supporters, but rather than allowing it to fester and to begin to get out into the public without addressing it, but now the people are hearing from the members of parliament, they're hearing from their government that, hey, come, let's talk, let's sit down, what it is, what you're dealing with, what's your issues. And so that supporters are hearing this now is giving them some hope that maybe now let me go and see what's happening. Let me go and see if I can work this out. I think that is a very good message sending out to their supporters, and it tells you what the Progressive Liberal Party is now doing. The Progressive Liberal Party is calling for all hands on deck. They're harnessing the power of their people, and they're getting ready for battle, and they're getting ready to take a second time. Obviously, it appears that they're not going to be as challenged by the opposite side as they should have been.
You make me smile tonight, Mr. Ferguson. You know, the truth be told is that we're not just seeing a Progressive Liberal Party that wants to win the next general election. What we're seeing is a plea from individual candidates, I guess we say members of parliament, who want to return to the House of Assembly.
Incumbents.
And so this appeal is now happening where you allow yourself, who are weak, to actually partner with those that are stronger. And so we see the weaker and the stronger now bridging a relationship to say, you know what, we all deserve another opportunity. So the feeling out that Ms. Ellington is talking about, Shanique, which you're referring to, is just very simple. The PLP is now going to now vet all of their candidates based on the performance of these rallies. So you know what, Shanique Miller, you can run again because you know what, we got your back. And that's what this is all about.
And Shanique, if I may, what you're going to hear tonight coming from both Elizabeth whenever she speak, and also the Prime Minister, is going to be a common thread in relation to what Leslie just said. It's about mobilizing the troop. It's about now oiling the wheels as this train get ready to roll. They're oiling all the wheels to make sure that this is a ready machine, ready for battle ready.
And then guess what? Guess where this one actually takes place, Ellington? It's on Charles Carter's Park. It's Seabreeze Lane, right there for golf course, and Charles Saunders Highway. Do you know what vicinity or which constituency is next door?
Nassau Village.
Pinewood.
Pinewood.
Where the leader of the COI intends to run. They're challenging Pinewood now. They're going to get Pinewood out of the way, and then they're going to go after Marco City. Trust me on this. The PLP means business.
Okay, strategist. I will watch out for you. But listen, listen to me. They ain't just pundits here on this show. They also strategists. They think they can call it, and they've hit one or two things right on. So you know this the season to. But listen, gentlemen, this here, South and Central Eleuthera F&M nomination issues. That's kind of rearing its head. Hopeful and perhaps front-runner Philippa Kelly was seen today. You all have seen the video. It went viral. A video objecting to a poll to determine who the F&M's candidate in the South and Central Eleuthera constituency will be. She's seen and heard saying she nor her supporters were aware of the vote. Well, we're going to find out exactly what happened. Joining me this evening is Marvin Gibson in South Eleuthera. Good evening to you, Marvin. It's wonderful having you here. Of course, you have seen that stream and that live stream. You yourself run something in Eleuthera. In fact, it's beyond Eleuthera, but TMI. So you certainly are ahead of that. And so therefore, you are seen almost as one of the voices of Eleuthera and what happens. And so you are well aware of what took place and you are well aware of what happened. What is the story?
Shanique, good evening to you. Good evening to your guests. Hey, Garth, good to see you. Good evening, Bahamas. So a lot is taking place in Eleuthera with respect to the FNMs and what they're going through. We saw this poll that took place. I think everybody was sort of surprised when they heard about it, when they saw it, because it popped up in some of the WhatsApp groups. I was fortunate enough today to be able to speak with the chairman, Ricardo Dean, of the Free National Movement Central and South Eleuthera Association. And he explained to me that Dwayne Sands, the national chairman of the party, had called on him and all of the chairmen to conduct a poll among the party supporters and to provide a name to them. And so that was how this poll was conducted. Now, I did speak with Philippa. I did speak with Mr. Hunt, who's an aspirant. I also spoke with Cassius Stewart. All of them said they did not know anything about this poll taking place.
So then it was meant... So then, Marvin, it appears as though it was meant to happen without any of their knowledge and regardless of the amount of people, just that the majority in whichever groups they were made that decision then?
That's what it would appear to be like. And mind you, of course, it was being conveyed that this was a decision that was perpetrated by Ricardo because they feel like Ricardo was supporting Cassius. But Ricardo explained to me today, no. They were called on short notice on Monday of last week to have this decision in by Friday of last week. And he said on Tuesday, their executive board met, they agreed to conduct a poll in the WhatsApp group, and that is what they did. And as it relates to bringing forward this result for the elections. Cassius got 11 votes in that little poll. Philippa got 7 votes in that poll. Hank Johnson got 4 votes in that poll. So only 22 persons voted out of 70 persons in the entire group. Because of course it wasn't a secret ballot. And so people were going to be exposed, and so they did not want to go through that. Now, here's the thing.
So Marvin, 1 second though. 70 people, I see why maybe Philippa and Hunt and even Stewart himself maybe objected, because if it's 70 people in these groups, in the WhatsApp groups, and only how many did that total, by the way, that you mentioned? 22 people voted. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is that what made them vex, especially her with that video that went viral?
I think one of the things that made them upset is that they feel that their supporters were not made aware of this entire process. Imagine that it's actually in the group. 70 persons are in the group and only 22 persons voted. Wow. And a bunch of persons outside the group knew nothing about it until they saw the poll. Saw the results of the poll.
Right. So now what happened? So what happened? Because it's also being said 1 or 2 may have been notified, but then that may have been rescinded.
Listen, there's Shanique, let me tell you what's going on. I spoke to Ricardo on this. Ricardo told me he's gotten it from a reliable source that Philippa Kelly has gotten this nomination. And
how can you come on live TV on a Monday night and say that?
He was not the only person who told it to me. This is the second time I've heard it. I got it. I spoke to Cassius Stewart today. Cassius Stewart is no longer in the running from 2 weeks ago. I'm putting some things together because I'm assuming that he was no longer in the running from 2 weeks ago because they realized from 2 weeks ago that Philippa had gotten the nomination. I'm told that flyers have already been put together, and on Thursday when they have this FNM council meeting in Nassau, Philippa will be ratified as the FNM candidate for South and Central Eleuthera. This is the information that I'm hearing. Now, that's going to be interesting. Now, I have nothing against Cassius. I have nothing against William Hunt. Philippa will be bringing something new to the table in that she will be the first female nominee of any political party for Central and South Eleuthera.
Oh, they have never had a female?
No, they've never had a female.
Okay.
So that will be unique.
Okay.
And so there'll be some others. But now, of course, the candidates committee disputes this because remember, the candidates committee interviewed me on Saturday.
Yes.
They interviewed me on Saturday with this process
Would
where they were
but why
vetting
were
all
you,
the candidates.
why were
They
you
asked me
interviewed?
what-
Why were you interviewed?
I was interviewed because they're still, according to them, no candidates have been chosen. This is what the candidates committee, the
So
representative of the candidates.
So Marvin, wait a minute, and I know I spoke to you earlier requesting some sort of clarification, just to get an idea of what's happening. You were saying you had your hat in the ring as well?
No, I didn't have my hat in the ring.
Okay.
But they were interviewing me, vetting the candidates who are running.
Okay, you were helping them vet the candidates, yes, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they named 4 candidates to me. Well, actually, 5 persons were named to me. The 4 persons who they named as the aspirants were Philippa Kelly, Cassia Stewart, William Hunt, Hank Johnson, and then they also, I guess, by special had a mention of Theo Neely. Right? So I gave my views with respect to all of the candidates. And then they gave me this little addendum. They said, Marvin, because they know who I am, they know this is TMI, they said, I don't care what you've heard, the party has not selected any candidates for the election. No one has been selected. That is what they told me. Right? Now, on the other side of that coin, it is being spread all over the place, even by party insiders, that Philippa Kelly has gotten a nomination. She is not admitting it because she is sworn to secrecy until Thursday when she's officially ratified. The party is bringing forward 15 candidates. They're going to be revealing 15 candidates, I understand, on Thursday, including Central and South Eleuthera and North Eleuthera with Ricky Mackey.
Oh, Ricky Mackey's getting the nomination for North Eleuthera?
Ricky Mackey said his family has already given him approval for if he decides to run, if the party nominates him, that he can run. And I understand he's getting the nod.
Listen to me. Listen, you all are saying, you were saying a lot. You were saying a lot. Of course, Marvin, keep us informed. That's as much as I'll say. Marvin Gibson from TMI talking about that viral. Who leaked the video, by the way? Who leaked the video of how upset Philippa was?
Was it you, Marvin?
That's a very good question. I think that is being deliberately kept a secret. The thing is, they just wanted us to know that there were some issues that needed to be addressed.
Yeah, absolutely. Marvin Gibson there in South Eleuthera live this evening, talking about a poll that may have taken place and involved just a handful of people, and others were left scratching their head like what, when, and how. I thank you very much, Marvin. When we come back, we will hear opinions on that. And then something that is stunning still, that happened in MyCal. This happened on Saturday afternoon. You all will never guess this one. Beyond the Headlines is backward after this.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
My name is Omar Ferguson. I've been disabled now from 2009. What inspired me to start my own business? It was the determination to know that I still had something left in me, even though a lot of my independence, my mobility was being restricted. In my disability, it's kind of hard finding the investors or the capital. For example, national insurance. The benefit that we receive, it's a lifeline. And in any business that you're going to take, it's going to be a risk. We're not looking for handouts, but we want you to understand that we still need a little special care. This literally gives us a backbone that, hey, we could actually stand someday. This is the business I know it's going to be a risk. Even going through that process, I'm still dependent on national insurance. Overall, being in the program itself has put me in a place where I feel young again. I feel like anything is possible. I would say to others with disabilities, look around your community, just like you guys said in one of the modules. See what is needed in your community and go for it. Don't be afraid, just go for it.
For more information about how the SBDC can help your small business to make a big impact, give us a call at 461-7232 or visit sbdcbahamas.com.
want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Of course, before the break, we had Marvin Gibson from South Eleuthera join us to talk about that viral voice note and video that went out with one of the hopefuls. He said she is the nominee. We ain't saying that. Beyond the Headlines is not saying that. She is one of perhaps the front runners, but certainly one of the hopefuls for the Free National Movement in the Central and South Eleuthera constituency in Eleuthera, Philippa Kelly, and it just went all over today of her being quite upset of a poll that was taken. And so, of course, you heard him respond to that and sort of just put some perspective on there. Gentlemen, your thoughts on what Philippa had to say today, and then to hear Marvin this evening.
I listened, Shanique, to the video earlier today. And what Marvin had to say, and you put everything together, it's a very sloppy process. It's very messy. And again, here's another example of whatever's going on. I know the chairman is responsible for these things, but obviously it's not well put together. It's not disorganized. It's not transparent. As a matter of fact, it is showing that skullduggery of some sort is taking place, and the members is not happy about it. What you're doing, you're dividing and disenfranchising your people.
Skullduggery? Yeah. Isn't it just maybe wanting to hurry get the process done with so that they can
catch up? This is what we're going to do. Don't fool people, don't sham people, and keep others locked out. Let the grouping know, listen, we got to speed up this process. This is what we're going to do and move forward with it. Rather than all of these on-the-hand workings. It doesn't look good. It doesn't bode well for the party. You're going to create division. People are going to stay home. People are going to go and do something else rather than supporting the party. That is not what the Free National Movement need at this juncture of the game.
Well, that situation reminded me of something that happened in 2021, where we had the uniting of the third parties. And there was a discussion about the United Coalition movement, if you can recall, where Cassius Stewart emerged as the leader. Ali McIntosh was the deputy leader. And Mr. Adrian Francis, he was actually the chairman. And we had this meeting at a church off of Abundant Life Road, right in the back there. And I recall that very well. The similar situation in terms of polling took place where Cassius Stewart was actually able to overcome a Lincoln Bain who had the church full of people in black and white. I mean, the numbers were huge, Nick Miller. And Cassius, of course, he didn't have anybody. And Cassius came out as the victor, which was amazing to me. They blamed me for the skullduggery somewhat, and then they recognized that, God could not have done this. And I just sat back and I smiled. And so when I heard this again, this seems to me like a Cassius Stewart stunt that happened previously in 2021. As for Ms. Philippa,
wait.
I got to put it there because I was there.
Did you hear Marvin say none of the hopefuls knew anything about it?
This is what I'm saying to you. And a similar situation happened in 2021. Cassius Stewart emerged as the leader miraculously and victoriously, and of course Lincoln Bain and his followers were extremely upset because it was supposed to have been the uniting of all of the third parties, of which I too was the leader of the People's National Coalition, and I stood down to allow the process to take place. I am not going to fool with that again. I'm not running with any third party. I'm done with that. But of course, what you've done in the past will come back to bite you presently. And so, Cassius Stewart, I can believe that you were knowledgeable about that because you were knowledgeable about the first one. And Philippa Kelly, as for her, she's been working hard as a female. She's done miraculous work down there in South and Central Eleuthera. And I do believe this is why Clay's feelings, he took his game to a higher level, and the South Sea Lutheran, Central Lutheran race is going to be something to watch, especially if she's involved.
Absolutely.
Well, gentlemen, I'll tell you this. In Michael, in fact, Garth, you brought this to my attention. It was a live stream happening in Mayaguana.
Saturday morning.
Saturday afternoon, or late morning. And I was like, what are they saying? Who is this person? What's happening? And so afterward I went and I did my investigation. I spoke with key people in Mayaguana. I'm like, who is this individual? What is the meeting about? Because they had it labeled, but I needed to make sure that I read right. So before I go any further, take a look at this. Justin, I don't care how many seconds you play it. Just show the people and then we'll come back.
They don't come from north to south, they go south to north. So I was having this bet, and I had the fellas each bet $100. The storm was coming from the north. So I called Director Basin and I said, hey, Director, what about this storm? Because we had made a U-turn. And so before I could leave, all the fellas had me pay up this bet. Well, about maybe 3 or 4 hours later, those who remember Joaquin, I was there, like everyone else, up in the attic, breaking through the attic. My rental car was underwater, and I wanted to do something to give weather to the southern islands, because for too long, you're out in the boondocks, no one really cares, etc., etc. Well, that's a problem because there are no buoys, there are no radars, there are no equipment in order to be able to detect weather, and even the plane coming down here, there was a couple of squalls where they come around, but they're on their own.
And I'll tell you, well, a part of what he's talking about, that, ladies and gentlemen, reportedly, allegedly, and everything otherly, but I spoke with people in Mayaguana, they confirmed it, and I spoke with others as well, is Robert Caron. You know, he's from a media empire of a family. He's from also one of the, I guess, I don't know, one of the pillars of Bahamian society.
UBP family.
Just one of those key people. And he now heads, I would figure, a media empire. But that was him at the weekend in Maikal. He has investments there. He's talking to them about improving and enhancing the weather services. I understand this is what he's doing nationally in order for us to better be able to predict and storms and watch them, and just a whole lot of stuff going on. But it is my understanding that he was also there in Mayaguana and headed to Inagua after to say, hey, how about you give me a chance? How about you put your trust in Robert Caron, in the next general election? On which ticket? You all ready to guess? Yeah, like seriously, anybody who gets it, Garth will buy you dinner. For the Progressive Liberal Party, the PLP. And I spoke with, I'm not guessing this now. If they lie, I'll come back and I will recant. And yes, let me tell you, he is seeking a nomination on the PLP ticket. He went there to make his case. I understand that he went to Inagua after this, but it's not the first time he's been there because he already has investments on the ground. Right. It's stuff that he's already doing. He just wanted them to be aware as he continues to move forward, but to seek the nomination for the PLP. You all, what does that say?
What it says is a lot. He has family history in the Mayaguana, Maikal area. If you do recall Mayaguana, we are strongly UBP centric. There in Mayaguana, we're looking for an opportunity. We've had the PLP and the FM come down there with many promises, but here's someone who is there now, who is actually investing now, who are making miracles happen now. And I can tell you right now off the bat, the Mayaguana people, they're going to give him some attention. As a matter of fact, if they gave him the nomination, I could almost assure you, Shanique just spoke with buying you dinner. I'll buy you dinner if he runs down there and loses, because more than likely, he is going to win. They're going to be impressed with him, what he's bringing to the table. And the family that he's from, a long history of people that have involved themselves in this country. As a matter of fact, every household in this country has been probably touched in terms of your generations. We've all been a part of their media company. We've all read their articles. And it's amazing to me, Shanique Miller, where he's coming from and where he's now heading. That sort of tells me that right now, the Progressive Liberal Party has serious momentum. a serious magnetic pull, and I said it before, Shanique Bill, on this show, if you allow the Progressive Liberal Party to get on the gate, even these people who have prominence, what do you call old money? They're looking at the PLP. F&M, you are now in trouble. I told you, you are in trouble. And to the supporters of the F&M, I've been trying to help you. I've been trying to warn you. I've been trying to encourage you. You're not listening. I know you may hate me. You may not like what we say. But guess what? Election day, you'll see that everything we've said here has been nail on.
Let me say this. My people, my family, in Acklands and Crooked Island and the wider Michael, Megwana, Inagua, Long Key, we need difference. We need change. We need real representation. Mr. Karen, come to me, let's talk. This is very, very interesting.
Very interesting.
That a person as him,
his stature,
is number one, stepping up to the plate for the Southern Bahamas, which has, in my opinion, been neglected.
Yes.
They've always basically been a number. I think the representative, Mr. V. Alfred Gray, was the one who kind of fight more harder for them. But to see someone like him stepping up to the plate and to see the ticket that he is seeking to go under, it speaks volume of what is taking place in the country today. It speaks volume of the forward movement where the country is headed. And I think, I know of him, I think he would do good for that area. And he's a go-getter. He's a man who can make things happen. And for Michael, if this is to be, once they approach the party leadership and they get the nod, then let's do it. Let's do it for Michael. This is Michael time.
I give him a thumbs up, Mr. Ferguson. I give him
Absolutely,
a thumbs up.
absolutely.
The airport is there now, Shanique. The investment of the marina with Edison Taylor, those is coming. My family has acreage there. The people are excited right now that something's actually happening. I've had cousins sit in that meeting. Of course, everyone there is my cousin.
No, I heard the meeting was well attended.
But very well attended and very well interested. And when I spoke to my cousin, Shanique Bill, you know what he said to me? Man, this looks like a winner. So we're looking forward to the results of this. And
let me know when you go in Acklands and Crooked Island. I'm on the plane with you.
Listen, I tell you, quite interesting, and we will obviously follow that up and continue to monitor all what's happening on the political landscape, certainly, of course, on every political organization, not just one. But that was really the biggest news coming out of this weekend.
I'm surprised. I was surprised.
Yeah.
That was a shock.
Yeah,
Michael for the win.
Yes, absolutely. And so when we saw that, again, I spoke with Michael, I spoke with other officials, and I'm like, what is this? Is this a thing?
It's our time.
And so I decided to bring it to you this evening. Listen, I thank you all so much. Of course, Ellington Ferguson, Garth Rosborough, Jose Etienne, Marvin Gibson that joined me as well on tonight's show, and all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.